All right, everyone. Well, officially welcome to what is now the second installment of our community wellness series. We're going to meet this month, July, twice, the first of which is right now, to focus on healthy mind and healthy body. So tonight we are joined by Rachel Davis for an exercise class. Rachel is a certified personal trainer and the owner of Strong Mind Fit, a group fitness and personal training business. She recently opened a gym in Edwardsville, PA, which is in NEPA, and she's been working in the fitness industry as a trainer for 8 years. She has multiple fitness certifications, including her kettlebell certification. And without further ado, I'll pass it over to Rachel to lead us in tonight's exercise class.
Thank you, Andrew, and thank you, Rena, for inviting me to lead this class for you guys. My name is Rachel. I do own a fitness facility now, but before I opened my facility, my business was primarily catering to people who wanted to work out at home. So I'd have a lot of at-home exercises to show everyone. You can get a great workout at home and you don't even need any equipment. I will be using one prop. So it's going to be a chair. So if you have a chair handy, if you want to bring it over, it's not required, but it's going to be very useful for some of these exercises. So we are going to go through a couple different circuits, working on different parts of the body. And then at the end, I'm going to leave a couple of minutes if you guys have any questions about anything in regards to reaching your own fitness goals, nutrition, anything like that. So we are going to get started, and we're going to start on the floor, because what we're going to do is we're going to start to activate our core muscles. The core muscles are very important in everything we do throughout the day, especially in balance. So core is not just your stomach, it's not just your abs, it's actually your hips, your glutes, your lower back, your abs, everything kind of from here down. So we're going to start on the floor, so get a comfortable spot. Like I said, we're going to be activating our muscles, getting them ready to start working and start helping us during the other exercises that we do. So the first one is a glute bridge. If you've ever been to any sort of physical therapy, you've probably done this before. It's a great exercise. So I'm going to demonstrate all of these exercises. We're going to do them together. We're just going to do one at a time. And after I go through all of them, we're going to do them all back to back to back in a circuit, which just means you're going from one exercise to the next with no rest in between. So we'll start with our glute bridges. I want you to make sure you see my feet here. So we want to feel this in our glutes. Our glutes are the biggest muscle in our body. They're right back here. And you want to make sure that your heels aren't too far away or too close. Okay, so we're going to get them right in the middle, right under our knees. You're just going to look up at the ceiling, and you're going to lift your hips, and you're going to squeeze, and you're going to come back down. Making sure you're breathing, you're not holding your breath. So I'm going to keep doing these if you want to join me now. We're going to do about 15. That's a good rep range here. To make sure we get nice and warm. And again, we're activating all those muscles that are going to help us throughout the entire duration of our workout. So I lost track, but I'm going to say we're going to do 5 more here. 3 more. 3, 2, 1. Good. Now, if you are feeling it too much in the back of your legs or too much in the front, then we just need to adjust our foot placement for the next set that we do. We are going to move on, though. We're going to try something a little different now. If that one was too easy, that's good, because we're going to make it a little harder, and there's 2 things you could do. So we're going to come up in the bridge, and we're either just going to hold our hips up in this bridge and hold it and breathe. But if you want to make it a little more challenging, we're going to plant our hands, and we're going to get our foot off the ground like we're marching, but we're marching in this bridge position. We're going to keep our abs tight. Tighten it up a little bit. Let's do a couple more here. 3, 2, 1. Okay, now we're going to let our hips relax. We're going to straighten our legs out for a second and let our legs stretch. We are still going to be on the floor. We're going to do an exercise called a bird dog. You may have heard of it before. Some of these exercises have pretty odd names, but this is a great one for stability and core strength. So getting into position, we're going to be on all fours here. We want our knees directly under our hips and our hands directly under our shoulders. And it takes a little bit of coordination, so just do your best. You want to think opposite arm and leg. So my back is nice and flat. I'm all lined up where I need to be. You're going to extend one arm forward, and then the opposite leg is going to come back. You're going to hold it for a second. You're going to come down, and then you're going to do the other side. And you want to take your time. You want to breathe. I'm going to move back so you can see me in the whole frame. There we go. And just keep breathing. And you want to focus on your stomach a little bit. You want to keep it pulled in. You don't want to push the muscles of your stomach out. You want to hold your stomach in and take your time and breathe. Let's do 3 more. 3, 2, and 1. Okay, I have one more exercise to show you guys to activate the muscles in your core. Now, this is where that chair might come in handy. There's 2 ways you could do it. We're going to work on a plank. Okay, we're going to work on a tall plank, meaning that we're on our hands. I'm going to show you both variations. This way is a little more challenging. To get set up for a plank, I like to get back into that position that I was in for the bird dog and just make sure that my hands are directly under my shoulders. And then, so this is like the best way to get set up for a plank. It's going to make sure that you're always in the right, perfect position. So hands under shoulders, you're on your knees, you're going to walk 1 foot back, and then the other, and then you're just going to hold, and you're just going to look between your hands. Okay, so that is if you're able to do it on the floor. If not, no worries. We're going to use that chair. Just make sure your chair is secure. It's not going to go sliding. Mine's going to go sliding, but I'm just going to quickly demonstrate. So if you need to, put it up against a wall somewhere where it will not slide or move. Or you can use a chair. You can use the countertop. You can use any elevated surface, anything. Just make sure it's sturdy and it's not going to move. But we're going to put our hands on the edge of the elevated surface here. And we're going to get set up with our hands still right under our shoulders. And then we're going to step back. And we're going to hold. So again, any elevated surface. And if this is where you're at, that's fine. You can practice these every day. And then once you're really comfortable from something this height, you can find something that's a little lower. And you can start working on that height. And you can decrease the height and keep decreasing it until you can go on the floor. All right, so we're going to hold a plank together, whatever style plank you want to do, and we're going to hold it for about 15 seconds. All right, so I am going to use a chair here. Why not? It's out. All right, so I'm going to get set up. Let's all do this together if we can. We're going to step back and we're going to hold, and we're looking between our hands, and we're staying nice and still. And we're trying to not let our shoulders creep up to our ears. We want to keep those shoulders away from our ears. We have about 7 more seconds. 3, 2, 1. Okay, so those were all of our activation exercises in our first circuit. We are going to go through all those one more time, back to back to back to back. So just follow along. If you need some water, take a sip of it. And we're going to go back to the glute bridges. So if you're following along, hopefully you're enjoying these and you're already starting to feel a little accomplished here. Okay, so we're going to get into our glute bridge position. Remember, not too far with the heels and not too close. My feet are right under my knees. I'm going to put my hands to my side, and then you want to use your heels to lift up. So keep the weight back in your heels and lift up. We're doing 15. And if at any point you need a little break, just take a break and hop back in when you're ready. And just make sure you're breathing. Don't hold your breath. In and out, in through your nose, and then out through your mouth. like you're blowing through, like you're blowing out birthday candles. 2 more. 2, 1. Okay, now we're gonna come back up into that bridge, and we're either holding it or we're marching. I'm gonna hold for half of it. I'm gonna keep holding. Okay, now I'm gonna do some marches. I'm gonna do 10 total marches. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. All right, we're gonna move on to that bird dog. Remember that one? So that was knees under hips, hands under shoulders. Now we're gonna reach with one arm and then lift that back leg. Remember, it's opposite arm. If you do both on the same side, you might topple over. So do opposite arm and leg. Let's do one more each side. Okay, and then we're gonna get our elevated surface, or just do it from the floor. We're gonna hold our plank, and after that, we're gonna move on. We're gonna do some new stuff. All right, so I'm gonna get set up here with my hands right under my shoulders. I'm gonna walk one foot back and the other, and then I'm holding. We're gonna hold for 15 seconds. 5 more seconds. 3, 2, and 1. Okay, so 1 circuit down. That was the activation series to start working our core and to start activating the muscles that we want to work for us. Again, to keep us injury free and to just make us overall stronger doing everyday activities. Okay, so we are going to do 2 more circuits. We're going to do a lower body, and then we're going to do an upper body. So let's move on to the lower body. And I am going to ask you to keep that chair handy, because I'm going to teach you how to do squats using a chair first, and then I'll show you how to progress it if you feel like you're ready to do that. So I'm going to demonstrate, and then we're going to do it together, and then we're going to move on, and we're going to do the same thing. We're going to do it the same way that we did it with all those core exercises. So we're going to work on a normal squat. The reason I have the chair is because when you're sitting in the chair, you have the perfect mechanics of a squat. My hips are almost parallel. There's a lot of bend in my knee, and I'm getting my hips back and I'm taking the pressure off my knees. So when you're sitting in a chair, you don't really feel pressure in your knees because you don't sit like this, right? You don't sit with moving forward and putting that pressure on the knee. You sit nice and upright, and all the weight is back here. So we're going to sit in the chair. You could do whatever you want with your arms. It doesn't matter. I like to just kind of hold it in front of me, like I pretend I'm holding a weight or something. And then we're going to stand up and sit all the way back down. As long as you have a chair that's a comfortable height to do this, but again, any sort of chair, as long as you can sit down and comfortably have your feet resting on the floor. We're just going to keep standing up and sitting back down. After a couple times with this, you should start to feel it burning in the front of your legs, right here. So those are our quads, quadriceps. That's what we're working. Let's do a couple more, and then I'll show you how to make it a little harder if you want. 2 more. 2 and 1. Okay, so we're going to progress that a little bit. If you're not comfortable with progressing it, if you think it was challenging enough just standing and sitting, stay there. But if you want to try this, we're going to give it a shot. So now we're going to start from a standing position instead of a seated position. And we're going to go to sit down, but instead of sitting down, we're just going to tap. Just a little tap and stand back up. So that is making sure, again, you're getting your hips back and you're getting set up in the right position to squat. We're going to do a couple more of these. 3, 2, 1. And then eventually, after you practice the mechanics of the squat, you could take that chair away, and then you're just going to pretend like there's a chair there, and that's how you do a squat. So those are the squats. We're going to move on. We are going to do a single leg exercise. And the reason why single leg, single arm, anything that you do just one side at a time is very good for you, because everyone has a weaker and a stronger side, right? So when you're doing something with both legs at the same time, if you have a weaker side, that side is just going to stay weak, and the stronger side is going to make up for that. And sometimes you can't even tell. So it is really important to work single sides of the body, so that way your weaker side can catch up a little bit to the stronger side, and it won't make such a big difference. So we are going to use our chair for this. You can use any sort of elevated surface that you can put your hand on. Now, if you have any knee, hip, ankle pain during this, just don't do it. Just, you could do more squats, or you can just, watch and whatever you're comfortable with. Okay. So, but we are going to use a chair, because that's going to give us about 20% help. So we're not just putting all the pressure on our legs. We are getting help from that chair. So you want to put 1 foot forward and 1 foot back. I'm going to adjust so you can really see my feet. That's all I care about, is you seeing my feet here. You don't need to see my upper body. I just have one hand on the chair. So I have 1 foot forward and 1 foot back. You want a big, big, big space between your feet. I'm going to show you from the side too. So I have a huge space between my feet, so I could drop my hips straight down, and straight up. And when I come down, you can see both of my knees are bent at the same angle. So one leg's not straight and one knee is very bent. They are both bent at the same angle. I'm coming straight down and straight up. This one burns. We're not going to do too many of these. And you don't have to go down very low. Again, as long as your knees are both bending at the same angle. We'll do one more. Okay, and now I'm going to turn around, and I'm going to switch my legs around. And I'm going to come straight down and straight up. Let's do 3 more. 3, 2, and 1. Okay, good. Your legs should be feeling that. Hopefully that was pain-free. If you had some pain, that's okay. We're going to just try to strengthen your legs. Try to keep doing those squats. Do anything that wasn't painful for you, and see if you can work up to building some strength. The stronger your muscles are, the more pressure it takes off the joints. Okay, so now we're just going to do a basic march. This is to strengthen our hips, our hip flexors, and to get our heart rate up a little bit. So you can hold on to something if you want, something heavy, fresh, to give you a little bit of extra weight. I have a ball. I don't expect everyone to have a weighted ball around, but if there's something heavy you want to hold on to, you can hold it right at your chest. But now we're going to march nice and controlled. And I want you to tighten up your stomach. So a good way I teach my clients how to tighten up their stomach is pretend like someone's going to punch you in the stomach. What do? You tighten up. That's exactly how you tighten up your abs when you're doing an exercise. So we are trying to engage. So we are going to tighten. And we're just going to keep going. You don't have to get your knee up really high. We're just strengthening the hips here, but trying to keep it moving for a longer period of time to get our heart rate up. We're going to do this for about 30 more seconds. Seems, easy, but after you've done it, I would say, if you want to do something like this at home, very easy. You can get your heart rate elevated. Do it for a minute. Do it for 2 minutes. See how long you can handle it for. And then give yourself a little break. So if you do it for a minute, give yourself a 30-second rest, and then do it again. 3, 2, and 1. Okay, we're going to take a little break, and we're going to go through all of that in the circuit. So back to back to back, 3 exercises. So with that, we're working our quads and we're working our hip flexors just to strengthen all of that. All right. We are going to take about 10 more seconds. I'm going to get a little drink, and then we're going to do all that again. Okay, hopefully everyone's still doing okay. We're going to start with the squats. So you could either sit all the way down and stand up, or you can just tap, whatever you want to do. But we're going to try for 15. So if you start with the tap and your legs get too tired, just go back to sitting and standing. But let's try to get through 15 reps of these. All right, here we go. 3, 2, 1. Up and down. 5. 8. Almost there. 9. 6 more. 12. 13. 14. One more. 15. Good. And then I don't know if you noticed, but I'm working out barefoot. All of this stuff is totally fine to do barefoot. It's actually very good for you. So when you're working out at home, feel free to work out barefoot. Okay, we are going to do the split squats next. That is holding onto the chair, 1 foot forward and 1 foot back, shoulders back, stay nice and upright. Think really good posture. All right, and we're going to drop straight down and straight up. Let's do 8 each leg. 5, 3 more. 6, 7, 8. Okay, other leg. Make sure you have a really, really, really good space between your back heel and your front toe. Straight down and straight up. You could do whatever you want with this hand. Just don't touch your leg. Try not to push. Just keep it out to the side. 3 more. 3, 2, and 1. Okay. Our heart rate should already be a little elevated, but we're going to keep it up there by marching. We're going to do this for about 30 seconds. We are halfway. Five more seconds. 4, 3, 2, and 1. All right. So 2 circuits down. We have 1 to go. We are going to do some upper body. The first one has a little bit of legs, but we're going to incorporate upper body, and there is no equipment necessary. However, if you want to, you can always use water bottles, filled water bottles. Just make sure they're the same. They both are unopened, have the same amount of liquid. You could use like canned goods, anything you want, especially for the first one, because we're going to be going overhead, but the exercise is still effective. Just lifting your arms and not even holding any weight. All right, so I'm going to go through the first one. We're going to do 1 at a time, just like we've been doing, and then we'll do all back to back. So the first one, we're going to leave this chair out because we're going to do another squat movement, but this time we're going to add our arms overhead. And this is where, if you would like to ever hold something with a little bit more weight to it, this would be a good one. But we're going to keep our arms here, pretend like we have something, and we're going to stand up and raise our arms overhead and sit down. We're going to go back up. So we're going to work our shoulders here, bring our arms overhead. Reach. Let's do 3 more. 3, 2, 1 more. Okay, now I'm going to have everyone stand up, and we're going to do some arm circles. We're going to do smaller range of motion to really work the shoulders. So we're going to the back, and this is going to be timed. We're going to do this for 30 seconds. So you'll really start to feel it, start to feel a little bit of a burn. We are 10 seconds in. After this, we're going to go to the front. Halfway. 5 more seconds. 3, 2, 1. And now we're going to make small circles to the front. So you might see people doing them nice and big, but we want to keep them tiny because we want to work that muscle and we really want to feel it. Halfway. Almost there. 3, 2, 1. Okay, I am going to move my camera to face a wall. Okay, we're going to find a good spot on the wall for this. So just bear with me while I move you around here. Bring you with me. We're going to work on push-ups. So you could do these. We're going to start with the wall. As you get more comfortable though, you can do the same thing you did with the plank on the chair. You can start from an elevated surface and do them. And then once you get really comfortable, let's say you could do 15 to 20 from that surface, you can move the surface down and down and down until eventually you can do them from the floor. So that's how you build up strength to do a push-up from the floor. But let's just learn the proper positioning to do them from the wall. So you're going to take a step back. So you're about, if you straighten your hands, your fingertips just touch. Okay, and if this is shoulder width, we're going to come out a little tiny bit wider. And then we're going to be on our toes and we're going to lower down. And our nose is just going to go to the wall. You don't have to touch your nose to the wall. And then we're pushing away. So just thinking about pushing the wall away from you. So let's do a couple more here. Join me if you would like, if you haven't yet. Almost there. 3, 2, 1 more. Okay, that wasn't too bad, right? And then we're going to do one more. This one has 4 exercises in it. We're going to do something called a seal jack, but we're going to modify it a little bit. After we do it, I'll show you a way to make it a little more challenging, but you don't have to do it. It's not required to do jumping. So we're going to start with our feet together and our hands together in front of us. Oops. There we go. Okay. Yes. Now you can see everything. Okay. So our feet are close and our hands are together. The arm movement looks like this. We're coming out and we're getting a stretch in our chest and we look like a T. And then we're coming in like we're going to clap our hands, but we're not actually going to clap. We're going to squeeze the muscles here. So this is what the arm movement looks like. And then we're going to add the legs are just like this, tapping out to the side. And now we're going to put them both together. So feet together and arms together. Come out, back in, out, back in, and just keep going. Join me if you can. And make sure you're squeezing as you come in. Let's do 10 more seconds of this. In 3, 2, and 1. Done. Good. Okay, we're going to take a little rest, and then we're going to go through that circuit, back to back to back to back, and then we're going to be done. So we're almost there, but we will do a little bit of stretching before we're done. So we're going to finish this circuit. We're going to do a little bit of stretching, and then I am going to just open it up to see if anyone has any questions about the workout we just did or anything at all. So let's take a couple more seconds to rest a little bit. Grab a sip of water, something to drink if you need it. Okay. All right, let's do this last circuit. So we're starting with our chair. We're gonna stand up and really reach for the sky. Okay, here we go. 3, 2, 1, stand up and reach, sit back down. Let's do 15. Just make sure you're breathing, don't hold your breath. We're gonna exhale as we stand up, inhale, sit down, exhale, stand up. 7. And 5 more. 4, 3, 2, 1 more. 1. Okay, now we're gonna do those arm circles. Ready and go. Little circles to the back. 30 seconds. Halfway. 10 seconds. 3, 2, 1. Okay, to the front. Keep breathing. Halfway. Almost there. 3, 2, 1. Okay, feet together. We're here. Oh, I wanted to show you if you wanted to make it a little harder. It's called a seal jack because it's like jumping jacks, except your arms, instead of coming up, they're coming out, so it looks like this. But I'm not going to do it that way. I'm going to keep it modified because I like that way better. But if you want to do this one, feel free. Okay, here we go. 3, 2, 1. Reach, tap, and bring it back in. We're doing this one for 30 seconds as well. And we are halfway, so we have 15 seconds left. We're almost there, almost done with our workout. In 3, 2, and 1. Okay, we are done with the exercise, but we are going to do a little bit of stretching. So grab some water if you need it. And then we're going to stretch our shoulders, we're going to stretch our chest, and we're going to stretch our lower body a little bit. Okay, so some of the stretches will require some balance. So if you want to go by a wall or you want to get that handy chair out, go for it. Let's do our shoulders first. Let's do our upper body first. So I'm going to come down here so you can see me. You can do this standing now. We're going to bring our arm across, and then we're going to come up with this arm and pull, but avoid the joint. Don't go right on the elbow. Pull until you get a good stretch. And when you're doing static stretching, so static means just holding the stretch just like this. You can hold the stretch for 30 seconds or more. Research says that 30 seconds is adequate time to get a good stretch, to get the benefits from holding the stretch. So we are going to hold it for 30 seconds. Let's do 15 more seconds. Almost there. 3, 2, 1. Okay, we're going to do the other side. Fifteen more seconds. 3, 2, 1. Okay, now to stretch our chest, what we're going to do is we're going to lace our fingers just like this. And we're going to do it behind our back. We're going to push our arms down, which is going to naturally pull our shoulders back. And that just kind of sticks our chest out. And we're going to stretch it there. The push-ups really worked our chest, and the seal jacks did as well. That worked our chest and our shoulders. So that's why we're going to stretch our chest and our shoulders out. A couple more seconds, about 10 more seconds. 3, 2, 1. Okay, this is where we're going to need some help with the balance. Okay, we're going to stretch out our quads, the front of our legs right here. They're going to be a little tight from doing all those squats, and especially from doing those split squats. So we're going to hold on. We're going to kick one leg up, and then we're going to grab the top of our foot and pull it back. If you can't do this, that's okay. Just do your best. You can also do it lying down, which I'll do this side standing and I'll do the other side lying down so you can see how that looks. Fifteen more seconds. Oh, I just lost my balance. Looks like it's important to hold on to something. Almost there. 3, 2, 1. Okay, let me show you what this stretch looks like if you're lying down. So you would come onto your side. And you're gonna just prop yourself up with your elbow. And you're gonna kick that leg back and grab the same spot and pull it back. Some people prefer this over standing. Some people prefer standing. Again, it's just a personal preference. Whatever is more comfortable for you. Both stretch the exact same way. Almost there. 3, 2, 1. And our last stretch, we're going to stretch out our glutes back here. It's really important to stretch out the glutes because if they get too tight, that could cause some low back pain. So our legs are straight and we're just going to cross one foot over like this. And then we're going to grab our leg with both arms and really hug it. Pull it in nice and tight until you get a stretch right here. And we're going to hold that. This is going to be our last stretch. Ten more seconds. Okay, let's do the other leg. Cross, hug it, squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Ten seconds. 3, 2, and 1. Okay, that was our workout. I really hope that you enjoyed it and you learned something new. I'm going to open it up to see if you guys have any questions for me. It can be about what we just did. It can be about any sort of health and fitness question you have in general, how to reach your fitness goals, nutrition, anything you want. So feel free to ask.
Rachel, thanks so much. That was great. I followed along and I'm glad I got my workout in today.
Yeah.
What is like the recommended amount of exercise per week that people should try to aim for?
That's a great question. It's actually 150 minutes per week. Okay. So if you can do 30 minutes 5 times a week, that would be perfect. You could break it up however you want. I wouldn't recommend doing all 150 minutes in one day, but as long as you're hitting that per week, that is enough to start seeing some moderate results with your exercise. It doesn't have to be, but if you really want to start seeing results sooner than later, they recommend 150 minutes per week. And that's moderate exercise. If someone was doing very vigorous, it would be 75 minutes per week.
Got it. Thanks.
I have a question too. Also, thank you. I was following along with most of it as well. When you were talking about the importance of working out like your weaker side, like your weaker arm and your weaker leg, I was wondering if you could just speak a little bit more to that and some ways that it's some ways we can target those weaker sides specifically.
Sure. I think everyone, I see it all the time, everyone does have a stronger and a weaker side. Sometimes it's not that big of a deal, but other times it could lead to really big muscle compensations, atrophy on one side, which means your muscles, getting smaller, pain. So it is really important to try to work them independently. So you can work them independently by just using separate hand weights, lunges, anything you could do just one side at a time. Because that's going to help strengthen it, and then your body's going to catch up with each other. And a lot of times, like I call it glute amnesia. Like when you're seated a lot, like your muscles forget how to fire correctly. So when they're not doing that, that can cause other sort of injuries and just general feeling of uncomfortability, even just sitting, standing, walking, doing anything. So keeping your body symmetry is very important.
Great, thank you.
You're welcome.
Rachel, how much water should people be drinking, I guess, throughout the day?
Yeah, a lot of people say they try to drink a gallon of water a day. You do not have to do that. The easiest way to figure that out is to take your body weight and cut it in half. And that's the number of ounces you should drink. That's what's recommended. So if someone weighs 140 pounds, you would just cut that number in half, which is 70. And that's how many ounces? So 70 ounces. That's like the general rule of thumb.
Cool, thanks.
No problem.
For the overhead lift, I've got a 10-pound exercise ball and a 20-pound ball, and I think I can work for that. As I read you, I appreciate you giving me your variation and variation. But so strong for me.
I'm sorry, I really apologize. I was having a hard time hearing that, but I heard something about a 20-pound medicine ball. Were you using that?
Yes, I was.
Oh, great. That's awesome. Perfect. That is wonderful. Yeah, there's a lot you could do with a medicine ball. With the squats, you could just hold that medicine ball right at your chest, and you could do any leg exercises that we did. So the marching, you could hold it there as well. So there's a lot you could do with the medicine ball. So that's a great tool to have at home.
All right, well, if no one else has any questions or comments for Rachel, I'll give us a little bit of info about our upcoming classes. We have one more session in this second round of the Community Wellness Series. So we will meet same time, 6:30 to 7:30 p.m. 2 Wednesdays from now, Wednesday, July 20th. And we will have a class with a friend of led by a friend of the EPA who is a certified yoga instructor who's going to be doing some yoga and mindfulness with us in 2 weeks' time. Again, that's July 20th, 6:30 to 7:30 p.m. We hope to see everybody there. And again, this is this time around with the Community Wellness Series, we're keeping it just in the month of July. So that'll be our second and final session in this series. Rachel, again, thank you so much. That was great. I enjoyed following along. I hope everyone else did too. We'll get this recording posted to YouTube, so you can always reference it back, share it with friends, pass it along, and yeah, hope to see everybody else next time.
Thank you.
Thank you all so much for having me. I hope you guys enjoyed the workout.
Thanks, Rachel. Thanks everyone for coming.